So test prep, what you're going to be doing this week is preparing for the certification exam. And I did make the certification exam optional because of COVID. However, there are activities in test prep that are worth points that you need to complete. I'm assuming everybody is going to want to take the certification exam. And so the objectives are here. And reviewing the objectives is really important because when people write exam questions, they are given objectives and sub-objectives. And it's those sub-objectives that the exam questions are written on. So make sure you read through all of this because you will see exam questions in every single area. And I know because I write exam questions for Certaport and I worked on this test. So I can tell you that you are going to see questions asking you to do all of these things. So when you come over here and you see average, max, and min, and count blank, and then you see these text functions, right, left, and mid, there are questions on that. Make sure you know how to do them. Then I did include a couple videos. These are YouTube videos. One is tips and tricks for passing the test, well worth watching. And then another one is on all of the functions that are in the exam, because the functions quite often are where people get tripped up. Okay, they find them confusing, and that's where they lose points when they take the test. After you finish that, then you do need to have a Certaport account. So you're going to go to the Certaport testing site, and if you have an account already, that is awesome. If you do not have an account, you are going to have to create one. You don't need to give them a voucher number or anything like that, but you are going to need a username and a password. Okay, so give them enough information so you can get the username and the password. And you have to do that before you take your certification exam. Then, what is required for practice are all three of these core tests. And the questions that are in the core tests are the same as the tests that you have been doing all semester. So these testing exercises that you have been working on throughout the semester, they are back for you to practice here. So I did include the different modules, okay, which is important because if you look at your grades and your scores, if there was one that you struggled with, that's when I would come up here and go through the training, okay, because the training chapters are the same, okay, so you can pick which one and then just go through it and make sure you know how to do it, okay. So for this little section, it works just like the testing exercises, with a little exception. On these, you only have to get 70% or higher, because on the Microsoft Office test, the certification exam, you only need 70%. Okay, if you get 70%, I'm going to give you all the points. If you don't get 70%, your score is going to be prorated, just like it will be for the final certification exam. So I'm going to be manually entering the score for these in this little drop box. So you are not going to see your score. You will see the little report at the end, and that's how you're going to know how you did. Okay, because I'm going to have to go in and access that information so I can enter your score. What you're shooting for on all three of these is 70%, and then I'm going to give you all the points. You can retake a test up to 20 times. Okay, you can go through the training and then take the test. Okay, so it's totally up to you how you want to handle this. So that is practice for your certification exam. And then I also wanted you to have a little more of an idea of what the test would be like. So I created a workbook that you can download. And this is extra credit. And once this opens, if it ever opens, you'll see it's a multi-sheet workbook. And there's instructions. Okay, so I've got a couple different worksheets here. And then I've got instructions. Okay, so there are 10 tasks. So basically, you are going to go through and complete each task. Okay, the wording in this is very similar to what you are going to see on the certification exams. Okay, and so you'll go in, you'll complete those, save it, and then you will upload this to the Dropbox, and it is extra credit. Okay, maximum of 20 points. So all of this is designed for you to practice and prepare for the actual certification exam. Now, the actual certification exam is in our little schedule here. But you can see that it's on December 1st through December 10th, only Tuesday through Thursday. And I'm hoping that you read this before you hear this video because you have to schedule a testing time. Super important that you call or email and get a time locked in for this test. Okay, and because you're allowed to retake the test if you do not pass, you have to wait 24 hours. I would schedule your test for December 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 8th. I would do one of those days if possible, or you can even do the morning on the 9th. Because you have to wait 24 hours, then you would be able to retest the afternoon on the 10th. Okay, so I would actually try to take the test the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 8th. Okay, because then I'm giving myself plenty of time when I can retest. Okay, if you don't pass. And for me, a passing score is a passing score. 700 is the cutoff. It does not matter if you get 700 or if you get 800 or 900. Passing is passing. And so what will happen is I will come in here, and once I receive word from the testing center that you passed, you will get 100 out of 100. Okay, so you do have 2 opportunities as long as you schedule that test in advance. And they will not let anybody take the test after the 10th of December. So make sure that you schedule that test and that you go in on your testing day. Now, if you pass the test, you do have the option of taking the expert exam. And if you want to take the expert exam, the objectives are here, and I've got the same training and testing available. Okay, you've already covered the material that's on the expert exam. There's almost every version of the expert exam has pivot tables. So I think a lot of you would do really well if you chose to take it. So if you look at this, they have a little statement in here for people who want to take the expert test. You don't have to pay any money. and you can take it through December 30th. You have to schedule it a day and a time. Okay, so just keep that in mind. And let me know if you have any questions or concerns. And I did make the certification exam optional. So because of COVID, you are not required to take it. If you are at risk or uncomfortable going to the testing center because of COVID, you do not need to take the test. I would like to know if you're going to opt out, so I have an idea of how many people are testing. And I'd also like to know if you pass. That would be awesome if you could just send me an email. So good luck, and let me know if you have any questions.